Happy Fine Print Friday, everybody. It's been a crazy week in college football. Notre Dame's head coach, Brian Kelly, is moving on to LSU, which is a pretty unheard of move. But they're paying him like $100 million over the next 10 years to coach the team. These coaches' salaries are crazy. And because LSU is a public university, the contract with Brian Kelly is public. So I took a look. The first thing I noticed is it's only 4 pages. It's 4 pages because it's a term sheet. A term sheet's what you have to do when you have to get a deal done in a hurry. Get all the important stuff out of the way and sign a deal. How much you're getting paid, how incentives work, and how termination works. A longer contract will follow. One of the details I have to fill in that contract is what the definition of for-cause termination works. Because if they terminate him without cause, they're going to have to buy him out, which gets real expensive for LSU. It's too much to cover in just 1 minute, but I'll be posting some images, or just keep watching. I'll walk you through the contract and show you some cool stuff. I hope you have a happy Fine Print Friday, and please share this video with your college football friends. Have a good one. Okay, so this is Brian Kelly's term sheet contract with LSU. Again, you'll notice only 4 pages. It's because it's a term sheet. We have to get this deal done. It has to be a binding contract. We have to do it in a hurry because of coaches and recruits and all that stuff in the transition. You'll notice that Bill Self, when he signed an extension at Kansas, I did Fine Print Friday 4 and 5 on this. It was a 21-page contract, a lot more detailed. And that's how you do it. That's how you get deals done in a hurry. So first thing I noticed is that the base salary is only $400,000 and the rest can be paid to coaches' business entity, $8-9 million a year. I mean, the incentives here are crazy, but you'll notice Bill Self did the same thing. A lot of his contract, he had a business entity that was a party to the contract too, and that's for tax strategy purposes. You only have to pay employment taxes on the amount that you earn as employee wages. So if you pay yourself, you pay your business and then pay yourself as the owner of the business, you save a lot of money on employment taxes. Just smart, basic tax strategy there. Form an S corp and put the money through that. Nothing wrong about that. $1 million a year can be put into a life insurance, split dollar life insurance policy. Split dollar means that the coach and the university will decide how much of the premium is going to get paid by each party and how much the benefits will get paid out. It's pretty normal. Life insurance is a smart way to plan for retirement and invest money. Incentives. All right. So win SEC title, $150,000, make bowl eligibility, $500,000. So that's pretty much a lock. LSU is going to make a bowl most years. And I also like how it says immediately following the first national championship win, the supplemental compensation will increase by $500,000. So I like that they just assume that the natty is going to happen. I think I get a kick out of that. Academic incentives are less than 1/10 of what the bowl eligibility and other incentives are. Shows you what your priorities are, but that's business for you. Other special incentives. Kelly's going to receive longevity compensation of $500,000 a year if he's employed on July 1st. Basically, it's like a roster bonus in the NFL. As long as you're here, it's just a different way to structure it for tax and cash flow purposes. All right. He's going to get 2 courtesy vehicles. I'm sure LSU boosters are happy to supply those. They're going to provide an interest-free loan to help them purchase a house. There's some favorable stuff here. They're just going to help them out. Relocation incentives, et cetera. I think this is interesting that, it says per university policy, the relocation incentive stipulates that all must be repaid by coach if he doesn't last for 2 years. The only thing I get a kick out of here is that it's per university policy, meaning that, look, we don't want to put this in there, but it's university policy. So we have to, it's not because we lawyers are being jerks. So we want to negotiate that in. That's just our policy. Okay, whatever. But that's lawyer code for saying, I didn't want to put this in there. That's in there because I have to. And a lot of stuff down here has to do with business expenses and taxes. LSU does not want to, if they pay the buyout, they want to make it a business expense so that it's fully deductible rather than employee wages. A portion of that's going to go to employment taxes, et cetera. There's a loan forgiveness thing, not too uncommon. There's also a clause that says LSU will cover unintended tax consequences, which you'll see sometimes too. LSU is going to give him 50 hours per year of personal air miles. Now that's separate from all his recruiting visits that I presume he'll do on private air too. So that's just a nice little perk for him to go see his family. Termination. Okay. So this is the meat of it. This is where the buyouts are, right? Termination without cause. Basically, if you're not doing a good job and we want to get rid of you, they have to pay him 90% of the remaining base salary. So that's a monster buyout. Let's say he gets 5 years in and they say, oh, this isn't working. They're going to have to pay him at least probably $45 million. And it'll be spread out over the rest of the years on a month-to-month basis. And if he wins a national championship, it's 100% thereof. So imagine if Orgeron got this. Orgeron won a national title. And he's out 2 years later. This is not going to happen here at LSU. I mean, it might, but he's going to get a crazy amount of money if they do. Termination for cause by university. This is interesting, okay? This is the details that need to get filled in the contract like Bill Self. If LSU terminates for cause with the definition hereof to be mutually agreed, basically that's going to be in the long form contract. If you look at Bill Self's, I think it's on page 13 here, termination without cause. That's page 13 it goes on. Termination for cause goes on for another page, 2 pages. Termination for disability of death. We end up spending termination by coach. Ends up going about 4 or 5 pages for Bill Self for what cause is. And the notable thing there was that Bill Self's for cause did not include existing recruiting violations with all the sneaker scandal that was going on. He got his lawyer was able to negotiate that around him. So they're keeping him regardless of what happens with that. This is interesting. If Kelly leaves, he has to pay LSU. So it's a $2 million buyout if he leaves voluntarily, which is pretty wild. And that's only if the current AD is still there. So it's like material parts of this contract that the LSU athletic director, Scott Woodward, is going to be there. Kelly is going there with a relationship and knowing Woodward. So he doesn't want to get screwed if Woodward doesn't want to get screwed if Kelly leaves. He's got a promise here and he's got to put his money where his mouth is if he leaves. This agreement is contingent on a satisfactory background check and approval by LSU, and the term is not enforceable until that happens. So he's going to be an at-will employee, meaning they can terminate him at any time for any reason until the background check and everything is approved by LSU. You might remember about 20 years ago, Notre Dame had a hiring. They had to hire a coach, and they hired a guy named George O'Leary. Perfect fit. He was an Irish guy, Catholic, successful coach. And within a week or two of them hiring him, they had to fire him because they found out he lied about something in his resume or something. Kelly's subject to that too. And look at this. Coach acknowledges a failure to disclose any and all criminal or civil matters for the past 5 years. 5 years is the duration, including those currently pending, but excluding non-felony traffic infractions, will serve as a basis to terminate employment for a cause. So if there's any type of sexual harassment or misconduct or criminal penalties that Kelly has not told them, then they can terminate him. And it only goes back 5 years. So unlike John Gruden, who is terminated for stuff that happened 10 years ago with the Raiders, Kelly's only goes back 5 years. And then at the end here, the parties intend to negotiate diligently to prepare and execute a formal long-form contract like the one Bill Self signed that more fully states the terms. So a lot of the details will get filled in here, but here's what your signatures and everything look like. This is, again, just 4 pages, get all the important stuff in there, and then we're done. So that's what the Brian Kelly contract looks like. DM me or make some comments in your replies, please. I'd love to talk more about this and answer some questions. Hope you all have a happy Fine Print Friday. Thanks.